Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why the world is falling apart right in front of your eyes? The chaos, conflicts, corruption, violence, the institutions you trusted are crumbling, and here's the brutal truth. All of this reflects the shadows you insist on ignoring. Do you think this is just collective bad luck? The world is screaming what you refuse to face internally. While you close your eyes to your own shadows, repressed anger, control, subtle lies, the world collapses. And what if I told you that all this destruction is an invitation for transformation, starting with you? The exposure of corrupt leaders, a reflection of our own shadow. It's no coincidence that we're seeing more leaders exposed in scandals of corruption, ethical failures, and betrayal. These public figures reflect something much larger than individual greed. They mirror what lies inside each of us. As hard as it may be to admit, we all carry small internal corruptions, subtle manipulations, convenient lies, and controlling attitudes. The fall of these leaders is a warning. Before we change the world, we must face our own shadows. It's time to stop projecting the problem onto others. Look inward. Do you try to manipulate situations around you, control people in your circle? This cycle of shadows perpetuates on a large scale when we don't deal with it personally. Want transformation? It starts with internal cleansing. If you feel this message resonates, check the pinned comment for the next step on this journey. Growing violence as a symptom of internal conflict. Violence is everywhere, in the streets, the news, even in everyday conversations. But this doesn't come out of nowhere. The truth is that the violence in the outer world reflects an internal war that we're all fighting. The battles of aggression, hatred, and destruction that you see outside are the reflection of emotions you suppress inside. The anger you feel and ignore, it erupts destructively out there. And what the world is trying to show us is simple. We cannot expect external peace if we still feed the internal war. Ask yourself, how do you handle your darkest emotions, the ones you try to hide from others, even from yourself? The violence we see is an opportunity, painful as it is, to heal ourselves inside. When will you begin addressing what's repressed? The collapse of institutions, the end of ego-based structures. We are witnessing the fall of governments, corporations, and religious systems, and the truth is brutal. These structures were born out of ego, a thirst for power and control. For years we relied on these institutions, believing they were our foundations, but they were built on lies. And now, they're crumbling because the world can no longer live under falsehoods. What will you do when these crutches fall? Keep looking for new authority figures to fill the void? Or start building your life on something real, true? This is the moment to recognize that the system is you. The change you want to see outside depends on an internal revolution. Everything that's falling apart reflects what's collapsing within us. Have you been through this? Comment below, share your story, because you're not alone on this journey. Extreme polarization on social media, a collective psychological war. On social media, people are more polarized than ever. It seems like every post is a battle between right and wrong, and no one is willing to listen to the other side. This isn't a coincidence. This radicalization is a manifestation of the internal forces in conflict within each of us. Have you noticed how your mind gets trapped in extreme thoughts when you're out of balance? The division we see online is just an amplified version of this internal disconnection. We're constantly trying to cling to a side, to a belief, because it gives us a false sense of security. But this war cannot be won outside, only within us. Balance starts with you, with the integration of your own polarities. If this content resonated with you, consider subscribing to the channel to learn more about dealing with these internal and external battles. Environmental disasters as a reflection of our spiritual disconnection. Environmental disasters, wildfires, floods, climate change are screaming at us. Something is deeply wrong with the way we relate to the planet. But the problem goes beyond physical actions. The destruction of nature mirrors our spiritual disconnection. When we lose respect for the sacred, both within and outside of us, the results are devastating. Think about it. If you are disconnected from your essence, how can you expect to treat nature with reverence? External pollution reflects internal pollution. Toxic thoughts, destructive behaviors, and the endless pursuit of material things. Want to save the planet? Start by healing your own relationship with life. Global transformation begins with individual transformation. There's no point in planting trees without planting love and respect for existence. Collective anxiety, a symptom of a world without purpose. The anxiety that dominates so many people today isn't just a reflection of external chaos, it's an internal cry for help, a crisis of purpose. When you feel lost, disconnected from your essence, it's natural for anxiety to take over. It arises because deep down you know something is wrong, but you can't pinpoint what. The chaos outside is merely a mirror of the emptiness we feel inside. Every time we try to fill that emptiness with more consumption, more distractions, more noise, we move further away from what truly matters. Feeling anxious? Maybe it's time to ask yourself, what is the purpose of your life? Are you living in alignment with your truth, or just surviving amidst the chaos? Share in the comments if you've gone through moments like this. Your story might help someone else who's struggling in silence. The fall of masks, the collapse of the social self. What's happening now is a revelation. The crises, especially the pandemic, have stripped away the social masks we wear to hide our vulnerabilities. Suddenly, we were forced to confront the reality of who we really are, without the distractions of the outside world. Did you notice this? The social masks we use to appear strong, capable, perfect, are falling. And spirituality invites us to look at the real person behind these masks. It's not easy to face our frailties, but it's necessary, because in the end, who you really are is what matters. If this message touched you, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and explore more about how to live an authentic life without fear of shedding illusions. Mental illnesses as a reflection of spiritual dissociation. We are facing a true epidemic of mental illnesses. Depression, anxiety, panic. They're all exploding like never before. And contrary to what many believe, this isn't just a chemical or biological problem. The true root of this suffering is the spiritual disconnection we experience as a society. Without purpose, without connection to something greater than ourselves, the mind simply collapses. Depression isn't a mistake, it's a symptom that we've strayed from our true selves, from the divine, from the real meaning of existence. The cure isn't just in medication or therapy, though they help, but in finding that bridge back to spirituality. And you? Are you ready to begin this reconnection? The true revolution. There's no external peace without internal peace. Protests, revolutions, demonstrations, they are all legitimate expressions of pain and injustice. But here's the truth no one wants to face. Without inner peace, there's no revolution that will bring lasting change. The world may change for a while, but if within us there's still anger, resentment, and imbalance, the same violence will resurface just with new faces. Spirituality teaches us that the true revolution begins within. When you resolve your own internal wars, when you find peace within yourself, the world around you inevitably changes. So ask yourself, are you only seeking change on the outside, or have you already begun the inner work? If you've gone through an internal transformation that changed your view of the world, comment below and share your journey. Your experience might inspire others to start their own internal revolution.